Greetings, fellow noobs! Welcome to another NuubCast. This is Blomus bringing you this is a special edition of NuubCast. This is, it is a 1v1. It is on Tal'Darim Altar. I'm not even sure who my opponent is, because this is just something for you to watch while it's going to be first-person view, my play, so it's going to be all kinds of lulls and criticisms as you watch. But really, I'm doing this video because, as I'm sure most, if not all of you know, the new patch notes are out for the upcoming patch. Oh no! Just don't do that. For the upcoming patch, I'm just going to leave my mouse right there. And yeah, the new patch notes are out for what they're going to test on the PTR, and I just want to take an opportunity to talk to them. I know everybody does this, and normally I don't, but I just wanted to try it and maybe promote some discussion here in the comments, or things that you've heard from other places you want to bring in and talk about. It'd be cool. So I'm just going to go through the notes one by one. I'm just going to talk about balance. I'm not going to talk about any of the bug fixes or anything like that. I'm just going to go through each one, bullet point, and talk about what it is, what I think it means for the game, and if there's any time left at the end of the replay, which may or may not be the case because I tend to blab. I'll talk about the game. But so let me just jump right in. The very first one, general balance change. Unit vision up ramps has been reduced by 1. Now, I'm not certain. What I think this means is that sometimes when you have units lining a cliff or at the very top of your ramp, they can be seen. Not only can they be seen, but they can be shot at by your opponents. And I think reducing the vision by 1 will take that away. So the vision will come directly to the edge of the cliff, directly to the edge of the ramp. And what I think it also means is that in order to get vision up a ramp, your unit will have to go further up. But instead of maybe perhaps halfway up the ramp to get vision, you may be able to have to go 3/4 or whatever the case is. I think this is good. I think it's going to alleviate some of the kind of cheesy blink play that sometimes happens. At least I think that's how it's going to work. Time will tell. And yeah, there is some Radio 1, what was that called? Essential mix going on in the background. It's Nero, so it's kind of low. I don't even know if you can hear it, but it's there. I just want to let you know who that is. Alright, into the meat of things. Protoss changes. My bread and butter. The Immortal. Attack range increase from 5 to 6. I think this is a fantastic change, much needed. There's actually, I've heard some people talk about, maybe it should be an upgrade from the Cybernetics core, which I wouldn't mind if that were the case. That's the way the Hydra range upgrade works. Marines used to have a similar upgrade in Brood War like that. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but that's not how they're doing it. They may change it into that after they see how things go in the PTR. But it's a straight range buff for the Immortals. I think it's perfect. This way they're going to have, they're not going to have to crowd around Stalkers to get in the fight. They're going to have equal range to their, to the units that they're meant to, counter, if you want to use that language. Marauders, they're going to have equal range to, and Thors, I believe their ground attack is range of 6, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. But definitely much needed upgrade. Instead of having Immortals, which are units I think that you should be protecting, like a Colossus, not the same, not as important as Colossus, but they're pretty expensive for what they do. Actually, they're very expensive for what they do. And they're units that you want to protect, so being able to not have them tank like a Zealot does out in the front of your Stalkers in order to be effective, I think is going to be very helpful. And you're going to see a lot more Immortal use. I think maybe not a lot. It's not going to be. It's not, obviously it's not a game changer, but it's going to be it's a nice buff for the and needed buff, I think, for the Immortal. Mothership acceleration increase from 0.3 to 1.375. Now, a lot of people are mistaking this for a speed change. This is not an increase in speed. What it is an increase in the time it takes for the mothership to get to its maximum speed, which is pretty darn slow. So, what it does allow for, it's going to allow motherships to get away quicker, and they did a similar thing with medevacs back in the day. Maybe it was even in beta, where they increased their acceleration so they could get to max speed faster, so that they could escape more readily, and that's what that's all about. I don't think it's going to have much effect on mothership use, because, I mean, let's face it, motherships are used sparingly anyway, and I don't think this is going to change that much. The next one, the mothership's cloaking field no longer cloaks all units instantaneously, but rather adds units to the cloak field over time, and they actually tell you why they're doing this. It's not a buff really per se. All it is a way to alleviate that lag that happens when a mothership pops in the game. You know, if you were playing a Protoss player and it was late game and they met a mothership, you would almost know, because there was always like a butt ton of lag that happened. And now with the gradual cloaking, it's going to alleviate that lag. No big deal. Stalker blink research time increase from 110 to 140. Obviously, much like the warp gate tech increase, this is going to delay blink stalker timings. Obviously, I don't know what else to say beyond that. It's just PvP, I think, is what we're looking at here, and maybe some PvZ instances where there was particular blink timings before roaches could get out, and not roaches, hydras could get out, and PvZ where blink stalkers versus roaches. Blink stalkers will win all day if you have good micro, and I think they're trying to delay that a little bit. Maybe not. I think it might be more PvP though, to delay the blink stalker rush. But of course, the big one, I think the biggest one of all of these, the most important one of all these for Protoss, is going to be the Warp Prism shields increase from 40 to 100. So now they're going to have 100 shield, 100 health. They're still going to be fragile, but I think that this is a huge buff to Warp Prisms. I think it's going to make them much more viable, much more used, and we're going to see a lot more Protoss drops of different kinds with the Warp Prism shield increase. So I'm actually pretty happy about that, and I think that you should be too. I think it's going to make all matchups better. I think, because instead, Protoss, we all know, is just very little. There's very little in the way of mobility. As we see my main get dropped. How dare they? Yeah, why don't we bring an army back to fight? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. That's what I do. I don't know if he did it on purpose as we were watching this game, but he picked up all but one unit so that my stalkers couldn't chase the medevac. I thought that was freaking brilliant when it happened. I was like, oh, what a dick. That was freaking cool. If he did it on purpose. He charged his Marauder into my army so they'd fire at him instead of at the medevac. I thought that was fantastic. And if it was on purpose, freaking baller move by whoever this guy is I'm playing. Anyway, back to the changes here. So yeah, Warp Prism, woo! Terran changes. Barracks build time increase from 60 to 65. This is to deal with 11 food, 2 racks pushes. When you build your first and second barracks on 11 food and then push out with 6 Marines and all your SCVs in PvZ, I think is the main matchup that this is meant to nerf, because it's going to push that back about 10 seconds. It's going to push orbital time back because you need to wait to make your orbital command till your barracks are finished, and it messes up some timings in there. So it's going to push some things back. It's going to make it easier for Zerg to defend against those early rushes, and I'm all for it. I think it's a very good upgrade. It's not going to solve things, but it's going to make things more reasonable in PvZ early game, which we've seen since the very beginning, since beta, has always been troublesome. And I think Blizzard is trying to find creative ways to make that early game a little bit safer for Zerg in particular, but even Protoss. They struggle with it less because they have force fields, but definitely Zerg. The Hellion Infernal Pre-Igniter damage upgrade decreased from 10 to 5. This... I don't know, it seems like it's a cosmetic nerf because if you have upgraded Hellions, if you have Blue Flame Hellions, you still, even with the 5 fewer damage, you still take out probes and SCVs and drones ridiculously. So it's a probe is 20 shield, 20 HP, and I think that nerf, it's still going to be 2-shot no matter what. And maybe it takes it away from being 1-shot, makes it a 2-shot kill, maybe, for probes. I'm not sure. I have to look at that, but I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. It's got to make a difference, or they wouldn't do it. And I think it's good. What's really good, I think, is this Raven Seeker Missile buff. The movement increase speed from 2.5 to 2.953. Now, the reason for this increase is because all of the units that a Seeker Missile, a lot of the units that a Seeker Missile is built to catch and destroy are faster than a Seeker Missile. So Stalkers can run away, Ultralisks can run away, Void Rays can run away. I think Vikings are still faster, but you have to have a greater distance in order to get away from a Seeker Missile than you normally do. So I think with this, we're going to see a lot more Ravens and a lot more Seeker Missiles used against Protoss, because it's going to, if you know, a bunch of Stalkers will die to a Seeker Missile very quickly. So bunched up blink Stalkers, like when they blink into a battle or whatever, will get creamed by a Seeker Missile launch with this speed buff. And the same can be said Colossus, Void Rays in particular, because they really bunch up too. This is a very nice buff for Terran. And now the Zerglers. Infestor. Fungal growth damage changed from 36 plus 30% armored to 30 and a plus 10 armored. This, it just flattens it. It makes it so that it's a just more even across the board. You're not going to be able to fungal Ultralisks to death. You're not going to be able to fungal down Archons. It's just going to take a whole lot longer. You're not going to be able to, with one Infestor, fungal a group of Archons to death, or Broodlords for that matter. You'll still be able to do mutas, still be able to do all the light damage. It's just going to make it harder against some of the units that probably die too fast to fungals now. You can see why I'm not casting this game, because it's freaking Turtle City. You know what I'm saying? I don't even scout the map. So hopefully this is not too boring. So I think that's it's a nice way to round out the Infestor. they had that buff and it was really strong. It's a really strong buff, and now they've rounded it out to where it's a good mid-game unit, but you're going to need more than infestors for late game. So Destiny's not going to be able to play with just infestors. He's going to have to go into the late game. He's going to have to get some different units. It's going to be a very good and strong mid-game unit, but it's not going to be able to sustain you throughout the entire game. And I think that's a good thing. Overseer, morph cost decrease from 50-100 to 50-50. I think this is great. I don't think it should cost 100 gas to morph the Overseer. And with that change, the Contaminate energy cost increase from 75 to 125 is a perfect balance. So now you can make more Overseers, so you can use them for vision faster. But it's not going to make it so that you are, so that you're making 15 Overseers so that you can contaminate your opponent's hatchery the entire game. That would be totally unbalanced. So I like that change for the Overseer. I think it's good. It's going to allow for more detection for Zerg at cheaper cost, and but it's also going to make it's going to keep them from now abusing Contaminate. So good. And Ultralisk, the last one, we have build time decrease from 70 to 55. 15 seconds, 15 game seconds, pretty good. It's a nice buff. I think it's good because we don't see a ton of Ultralisk play. This is going to make it viable to do something crazy like Ultralisk Rush. It's not going to take a million years to wait for Ultralisk to come out. So I like this buff. It's not. I don't know if it's going to be that huge of a thing because, we're not sure. Ultralisks are still kind of out. The jury's kind of out on the Ultralisk. Oh, look, I'm finishing just in time for the big battle. Holy crap, let's see everybody's view. Colossus totally destroying all the bio from the back. We've got storms going off. My Guardian Shields didn't work, so my sentries are doing jack duty, but the Immortals and the Archons and everything just rolling through completely dominates, and Dim has left the game. Look at this. We are such complete noobs. Look at this. Friggin' he's running 8 grand almost in minerals and 1,200 in gas. I'm at 3,200 and almost 2,000 gas. I was actually expecting to lose this after I scouted and saw he was on 3 base. I thought I was going to lose that battle and then have to immediately remax with all Archons, which is what I'm planning on doing. Anyway, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sorry I didn't get to see more of what the Terran was doing. Looks like he was macro slipping because he's got some depot issues there. Planetary out here. That would have been a super boring game because, as you just watched, I pretty much turtled the whole time and there's one big attack. Don't ever submit a game like this. It's complete crap and I'll never ever cast it. Which is why I did this instead. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was helpful. Room for discussion, corrections, correct me, tell me I'm a dumb idiot noob who has no idea what I'm talking about. Do all that in the comments. Let's discuss these changes. I'm actually really looking forward to this next patch. I hope they delay it a while so I can get through my replays so I don't have 60 replays waiting. Actually, I don't. I only got about 15 in the queue-ish. So definitely don't stop those reps coming in. Keep sending your good games in. Send them to NuubCasters@gmail.com. Until next time, keep climbing that ladder.